Fireside Yankees. The Yankees have dropped their starting rotation for the first weeks of the regular season. Their first 4 starters have been announced. They will be excluding Luis Seal from the starting rotation. That is according to manager Gerrit Boone. We'll get into that during the show. We'll also talk about the fact that the New York Yankees will have Gerrit Cole starting on Tuesday. He'll throw 2 innings. We'll talk about what that could mean for the former Cy Young winner and the fact that he seems to be far further ahead than anybody could have reasonably thought, given just the severity of a Tommy John surgery, the severity of a UCL tear. Again, we'll get into all of that and more right here on Fireside Yankees. I appreciate you guys if you're spending time here tonight with us on the live stream. I'm just going to quickly shoot out the link for this on our YouTube community tab. For those who are not aware what our YouTube community tab is, we have a community tab. Like it's a feature on YouTube. We'll post polls. I'm going to be really searching for more like feedback type stuff mixed into not just like, you know, some feedback stuff, posts, obviously, things of that nature. So I want to be using that a little bit more. And so if you guys want to check out for that, you can do so. Yeah, I'm just going to tweet again. I'm just going to post this now. But I really appreciate you guys spending the time and spending the evening with us. And I also really appreciate you guys like just showing us love throughout our time in Tampa, whether it was on the social medias or here on the YouTube. Sam and I launched our podcast. We're going to be doing that here on the Fireside Yankees show as well. We're going to have that here. I was really, I'm really happy with the product. I'm really happy with the fact that we're able to go out there and record with Sam and have content with him. Obviously, he's on our social side. He's a big part of what we do at Fireside Yankees, but we want to really prioritize like having our social media team work alongside our YouTube programs as well. So we want those two things to kind of coexist and you know, be in harmony and lockstep. And that's a big direction we're going to be going with here. Also, want to announce, if you guys haven't seen on the social media pages, we will be at Billy's on April 8th. We're hosting a live show. It's the Yankees, I think it's the homestand where they play the Athletics. I'll double check and confirm the dates for you guys. But if you are interested in attending, April 8th is the day where we'll be hosting a day where you can hang out with us. We'll have a bunch of stuff we're doing there, and you can just say hi. So if you're in the area, if you are, even if you're not going to the game, like if you're not going to the game, you can always stop by at Billy's. April 8th, 4 p.m. at Billy's Sports Bar. I'll be there. Sam will be there. Chris will be there. Alex will be there. Jacob will be there as well. At least tentatively, all of us will be there. So obviously things can come up, people get sick, things of that nature, life happens, but tentatively expect all 5 of us to be there. So if you want to say what's up, you could do so again at Billy's Sports Bar. But enough with the promo, enough with the show station business. Let's get into the actual baseball conversations. Luis Seal, he's going to go to the either the bullpen or he's going to go to the minor leagues. And look, I'm a little bit stunned after his last start that he's going to end up not making this opening day rotation. But given what we knew about him throughout spring training, what we saw, the overall package was just not very exciting. It wasn't very enticing. He did not look good in spring training for the most part, but that final start definitely changed my tune a little bit. Not to the point where I believed in him as a full-time starter when everybody was healthy, but more of a situation where I thought, hey, maybe the sinker, the added velocity, these things could help him be in the right direction and give him a rotation spot. Unfortunately for him, that's not the case. Now, Aaron Boone mentioned that there are a couple of possibilities here. He could piggyback off somebody. Schlittler obviously isn't going to be built up 100%. I think he's going to only be at 75 pitches in his first start in San Francisco. That's a possibility. Maybe Ryan Weathers gets knocked out early. Maybe Will Warren gets knocked out early. Maybe somebody gets hurt. Maybe the bullpen just needs support. I don't know. I know the off days are a little bit weird. The Yankees have a Sunday off, but it's just a weird schedule. So there is that possibility. He will stay behind in Tampa. He's not going to travel with the team to Arizona to throw a live bullpen. They'll make a decision there. Honest to God, I think they're going to just throw him in AAA. I think that it would be really silly to have built him up as a starter, then to interrupt his build-up process, knowing how injury-prone he is, and expecting him mechanically to be the way he should be if you need a starting pitcher. Look, the Yankees have not had an injury up to this point in their rotation among like the key guys. They did lose Brock Selvage, a prospect, to a UCL injury, I believe, but there's no way to tell that you're not going to deal with an injury to start the year. What if in the first start, you know, the elbow first, one of these pitchers starts barking and a shoulder starts barking, maybe Schlittler's back isn't responding well, suddenly you're going to need a starting pitcher, and you're going to need Luis Seal to be built up and ready to go. So I think they should just option him if they're not going to put him in the opening day rotation. I don't think it makes any sense to throw him in the bullpen right here, right now. I think later on in the season it would make sense, but for people kind of confused, and I'm going to get to the comments here real quick. A shout out to the people here. We've got MLB Channel saying what's up. Ryan Beck, my guy, saying what more could you ask for? Both Ryans are here tonight. You can't really ask for anything better than that, man. You really can't. Merc So Saucy saying, I'm surprised with Weathers over Heel. And I think this is exactly what I want to get to. So we're just going to pin that comment for 1 second in our heads, and we're just going to shout the rest of the people here. Baseball Hub saying what's up, asking me who's my favorite Yankee. That's a great question. I'll think about that one. Try T2X and Jack LV Envy. Appreciate you guys showing some love. So let's talk about the decision to not go with Heel in this rotation, right? You had Weathers in here as a question mark. Warren is, I wouldn't say like a question mark durability wise, but a question mark in terms of, can he go 6 innings? Is he going to take a step forward? Like, there are questions about Will Warren. Obviously, he wasn't going to take Schlittler or Fried's spot. When it comes to Warren, I think Warren had such a strong spring training in terms of the quality of his stuff. The adjustments he's made on the mound to shift over has created sharper angles. There are material changes to Will Warren that are not, pitch grip changes or pitch design changes. They're changes to where he's standing on the mound, and they're creating real effects for him. There's more swing and miss. There's more chase. Will that translate into the regular season? We don't know, but the velocity looks good. The command looks sharp. I think this is only going to help him. Obviously, Warren is still in this evaluation and assessment period where if he stumbles and Heel got a shot to start and Heel looks better than him, Heel's going to jump him in the depth chart. I do not believe in spring training ERA. You're going to hear me say this time and time again. It's great that Warren's ERA was great in spring training. It's great that his strikeout rate was good. It's great that his FIP was good. At the end of the day, these things aren't going to translate into regular season baseball at the rate that you would think. Warren looks great, but he's going to have to prove in the regular season. So I do trust Warren more than Heel, though. I think that the better strike throwing, the material changes, the progress we saw last year, especially after the month of April, those things gave him the momentum needed. He had better underlying numbers last year. He had a better camp than Heel did. So all those variables, that's why Warren makes it over Heel. As for Weathers, it's easy to look at the ERA and go, hey, this guy is an ERA over 11. And I understand watching the starts and watching the box score and going, this guy does not belong in the rotation. But ERA in small sample sizes it's an incredibly ineffective stat. Why is it an ineffective stat? Well, there are a lot of things that go into ERA that we can't really assign blame on the pitcher for entirely. So, for example, in some of these starts, he was giving up like 30-mile-per-hour ground balls. I would not consider a pitcher at fault for giving up a hit on a 30-mile-per-hour ground ball. Earned run average does. That doesn't mean earned run average is a bad stat. It just means that there are blind spots in the metric, and by understanding how to use it properly, we can cover as many of those blind spots as possible. One of the best ways to use ERA is to evaluate it over a large period of time. So we're talking 200 innings, maybe 250 innings, maybe 300 innings. Maybe that's the threshold we should be looking at. It's not to, like, look at a guy like Max Fried. Max Fried has a pretty large discrepancy in his ERA and like his expected numbers. But Max Fried has a large sample size of being a guy who overperforms those numbers. So I think the ERA is more telling than the FIP at this point with Max Fried because of the sample size. With Weathers, we've got like 12 innings. I have no idea if he's just going to overperform his ERA. And some of the underlying stuff indicates this is just incredibly unsustainable. There's a very high batting average on ground balls. There's a very high batting average on negative launch angle batted balls. There's a very high batting average on balls in play in general. Those things are not sustainable. Is Weathers a finished product? Is Weathers a future ace? I don't think any of those things could be accurately dictated. The expected numbers for Weathers look good. The strikeout rates look good. The whiff rates look good. The ground ball rates look good. It is spring training. So just like the ERA, we have no idea if this is going to translate, but I think the Yankees believe in Weathers a little bit more. I think they believe that what Weathers has been over the last 2 years is a quality starting pitcher, and that they made this guy better by adding a sinker and souping up the slider a little bit. I mean, people kind of overlook the fact that over the last 2 years, Ryan Weathers has a 3.74 ERA over 24 starts. He has a 22% strikeout rate, a 6.8% walk rate, 4.26 FIP, 4.03 expected FIP. He's been an average to slightly better than league average starting pitcher over the last 2 years. Granted, injuries have been an issue for him. I think he's performed better than Luis Gil has over the last 2 years. And I think that Ryan Weathers is better stuff than Luis Gil does. He throws harder, deeper mix, better command, things of that nature. So to answer your question in a very convoluted manner, is it stupid to look at the ERA and go, wow, Ryan Weathers stinks? I think I don't want to use the word stupid. I'd use the word I think it's simplifying the situation. It's not looking at it the way that the Yankees and other organizations would look at it. And you don't have to, I'm not trying to make it agreeable per se, as I want it to be understandable. You don't have to agree with the Yankees. The Yankees are going to get shit wrong. They're going to get shit wrong that fans get right. Just a fact. It's going to happen. Now, I think the team's going to get things right at a higher rate than the fans do, and they should. They shouldn't be patted on the back for being right more often than the fans. That's the standard for the Rockies even. But I do think that their process here lines up with modern pitching philosophy. Disingenuous. Paul knows that's I think it's disingenuous. But even then, is it intentionally disingenuous? Is it more so just hey, this is people just like to watch baseball and their job is, it's like they have a job to know how baseball is ran or know how teams evaluate. So I'm trying to help bridge that gap as much as I can, right? Again, agreeable, understandable, two different things. I'm trying to get us to understandable. Understanding the Yankees versus agreeing with the Yankees, two different things. You don't have to agree with them. Just want you to understand them, because at the end of the day, if you don't understand what's going on, it can be very confusing. It can kind of feel like you're, on your own island. You're going crazy seeing some of this stuff. But we'll move on to get some other questions here. Let me just take a sip of this coffee right here. That is very bitter coffee. Oh my God. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's strong. That's just black coffee. Just letting you guys know. I think it's just a straight shot of espresso. Ryan Beck, street fight at Billy's. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull off I don't think we're doing a street fight, unfortunately, Ryan. I think we're a pro-peace podcast. Yeah, that's what we are. Love the discussion about Gil. I'm glad you love the discussion about Gil, man. Give me a true assessment of the roster, and will they compete at a top-notch level? Jack, that's a phenomenal question. Let's start with the rotation, I guess, because the rotation to start the year, Fried, Schlittler, Warren, Weathers. I think the top half of this rotation has a chance to be really good. Just those two at the top have a chance to be really good. I think the world with Max Fried. I think he's an excellent starting pitcher. I think he is one of the best pitchers that people don't talk about enough as an elite starting pitcher. Look at his numbers since 2020. Among qualified starting pitchers, Max Fried is one of the, I think he's top 5 in ERA at this point. Yeah, he's 5th in ERA, 2.82. The guys ahead of him, 500 innings, 300 innings, 400 innings, 320 innings. Fried's at 854. This is since 2020. He's just elite. He's awesome. If you look at starters with at least 20 wins above replacement, there are 8 of them. 8 since 2020. Fried is one of the 8. Fried is an absolute monster. Fried is one of the best pitchers in the game. And then Cam Schlittler. Cam Schlittler, I think, is one of the 30 best pitchers in the game. I think this guy's absolutely incredible. So I love the top half of that rotation. Will Warren, to me, is such an important cog in this machine, because Will Warren, I think, is my safest bet for innings. I would feel the most comfortable in his availability to take the ball every 5th day. He's a really good athlete. He's very wiry. He's very whippy. His athleticism is excellent. But I just... How does he perform, right? He averaged about 5 innings a start last year. I need more than that. If you're going to get 33 starts, I need more than 162 innings. I think we can all agree Warren did not pitch deep enough into games last year. He didn't. He has to do it more. And the ERA has to come down. The underlying say he was a league average starter, but he was a league average starter getting 5 and dive innings. That's just not valuable enough for me for a potential mid-rotation starter. Is Will Warren going to be a back-end starting pitcher who flirts or kind of is yo-yoed between long relief and back-end innings, or is he going to establish himself as a mid-rotation starter who the Yankees cannot take the ball away from during the season? This is a big year for him because LeGrande's on the way, Elmer's on the way, Hess is on the way. Schmidt's coming back from injury this year. Rodon and Cole should be coming back from injury this year. Like, just that alone. I mean, his spot is seriously threatened by the presence of other guys in the organization and the guys behind him. So he has to kind of show that. It's unfortunate that's kind of like, hey, sophomore year, put up or shut up. But that's the pressure of being a New York Yankee. I think we can all agree here. The Yankees, if they want to capitalize on the Aaron Judge window, can't really waste their time with 4 or 5 ERA guys who pitch 5 innings to start. They just don't have room on the best version of the New York Yankees. So he's going to have to step up a little bit. Yeah, I can't ignore Bryce Cunningham. I can't ignore him either. He's definitely in the mix for a guy in the next year or two could be in the big leagues. This is no diss to Will Warren. It's just, hey, there's a lot riding on this year for him. Because I do think he can establish himself as like give me a 3.9 ERA and give me 180 innings over 30 starts. You do that, you're in this rotation every single year. Every single year you're in this rotation. Every single year. You give me that, you're in the rotation next year. You might say, how? I mean, I guess that guy. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to drop like flies. Sorry. Hate to be the pessimist here. Someone's going to go down for the year that you don't want to see go down. So, Warren, I'm really excited to see what he does this year. The rotation, I got so many. Weathers is a wild card. Look, I like Ryan Weathers, and I've kind of been very publicly like, hey, I don't care about the spring ERA. I like his stuff. I believe in the guy. But at the end of the day, he's got to prove it. Number one, can he take the ball every fifth day? That's a real question. Can he take the ball every fifth day? I know he's been working on added mobility. I know he's been working on added kind of flexibility, things of that nature. What are the results? Right? What are the results? Number two, what do you do when you're actually on the field? Are we going to see a guy who's up and down? Because if he's up and down, he's going to the bullpen. If he's up and down, he's bullpen. Yep. Because the Yankees would rather have 98, 99, 100 in the bullpen from the left-handed side than like a 4.1, 4.2 ERA, 30 starts in the rotation. If he can even give you 30 starts, which I don't think he can. I have never seen him do it. Therefore, I'm not going to believe or I guess he can do it, but I would not rely on him to do. And again, Cole, Rodon, by the time May rolls around, you're going to have those two guys back ideally. One of Warren, Heel, and Weather should be in this rotation at that point if things go right. Now, things don't always go right, but again, and we're going to get into Legrand because Ryan, you mentioned him. Happy we didn't trade him for 1 year Peralta. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. He's going to be here. Oh, yeah, he's going to be here. And don't forget about Elmer. They're going to be here. Like, there's pressure on Weathers as well. It's kind of immediate. It is unfortunate that these guys aren't really going to have the full year to work it out because, ideally, if you're not performing, bullpen, AAA, these guys will have options, right? So this is the one thing about the Yankee roster that I think is a good thing. If you're not performing, bullpen, AAA. Now, shifting gears to the bullpen, don't love the bullpen. I do not love this bullpen. I think there are some talented guys here, and I can give you the stuff plus scores and talk about that. But fan to fan, right? Like I'm gonna put the analyst Ryan. We're gonna take him. We're gonna put him in a corner for a second. 8th inning, tie game, 2-1, 2 out. Jake Bird's in. How you feeling? You feeling great? Because I don't know if he's gonna walk the next two guys. I don't know if he's gonna walk two guys in. I like Jake Bird. I think this guy could be really good. I would be lying if I told you that on March 22nd, I want him in the 8th inning of a big game and a big moment. Maybe he earns it. I don't know. How do I feel about Duvall? I don't know if I fully trust Duvall yet. I like Fernando Cruz. I love Fernando Cruz. Let's clarify. I love Fernando Cruz. I love David Bednar. That's two guys in a bullpen. And one of them doesn't have great command. So, again, like, I like Brent Headrick a lot. I love Brent Headrick. Like, I'm super high on Brent Headrick. Tim Hill, American Patriot. That guy's a legend. Love him. Right? Like, do I trust him that much in big spots? I don't know. So, it all comes back to the conversation of the bullpen. Like, we can talk about the pitch shapes. We can talk about the projections. We can talk about, hey, these guys have swing and miss ability. Do I trust them right now? I'm not sure. My answer, I can't be sure for a lot of these guys. For some of them, it's a no. So, again, I'm not trying to like sprinkle like, oh, this team sucks. I think this team's incredibly talented. Incredibly talented. The bullpen's where I'm scared. The rotation I feel great about. And the lineup, I mean, I think this lineup's going to be good. I mean, look, I understand I've kind of like gone back and forth with people at times about this lineup, but this lineup has a lot of the core elements that I really value. And I really do mean this. They have really good versatility on the bench in terms of offensive capabilities. They can mix and match. They can put Goldschmidt against the lefty. They can put Rosario in against the lefty. They can put Gritchick in against the lefty. And I trust those guys to either provide some power or, in the cases of Rosario and Goldschmidt, provide a really damn good at bat. They make a lot of contact. They make loud contact. They hit the ball hard. In the case of Goldschmidt, he slugs a ton against lefties. JC Escarra, I think, is a phenomenal defensive catcher who I think has more offensive abilities than people give him credit for. He has good bat-to-ball abilities, and I think he's got like league average game power with good swing decisions. I think that guy could be a league average hitter in the big leagues, but I don't need him to be a league average hitter. I just need him to frame well, which he does incredibly well. Like, I think he's got incredible defensive abilities behind the plate. I love JC Escarra. I think he's an incredible backup catcher. Maybe I'm kind of glazing here, but I really like JC Escarra. I've liked him last year. I'm kind of stunned nobody's traded for him. And I think, hey, you know what wants to trade for him? Fine, we'll reap the benefits. For the offense, I'm concerned about shortstop. I love Jose Caballero. Great utility guy, glue guy, stepped up last year. Career below average hitter. That's what he is. It's what he is, right? So why would I expect him to hit this year? Right? Same with McMahon. Career below average hitter. He's wide in the stance. The underlying numbers. Great. He's never hit. He's never been a good hitter. So I don't think he's going to be a good hitter. I think he could be an average hitter against righties, and then you put Rosario in against lefties. But the offense, I mean, Ben Rice is awesome. Aaron Judge is the best player on the planet. Cody Bellinger's a very good baseball player. I know Jazz Chisholm's antics. Don't get me wrong. Some of them are like genuinely kind of like, come on, man, what are we doing? But he's a phenomenal defensive player. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's got great power. He's a really damn good ball player. He's one of the 50 best baseball players in the game, I think. I think Cody Bellinger's one of the 50 best players in the game. I think Aaron Judge is the best player in the game. I think Ben Rice is one of the 30 best hitters in the game. Giancarlo Stanton is an incredible hitter. I believe in Trent Grisham. Not to repeat last year, but to be a good offensive player. Not sure I feel with the defense. That is going to be a question. And I'll be honest with you guys, I feel really good about Jason Dominguez this spring training offensively. I know he had that play in left field today. I don't think he's a good defender. I don't think he'll ever be a good defender. But I think he's a really damn talented hitter. I think Wells is a talented hitter who needs to just find it again. He just needs to go back to, hey, can we take walks? Can we have a good at-bat? Because the defense behind the plate's still pretty good. I think this is a good offense. I think they have depth. I believe in this group. I believe in this offense. Not to be the best in baseball necessarily again. I think that'll be the Dodgers, and I'm pretty confident in that one. And I do think, yeah, there's, big sleep is clutch. Yeah, there's some swing and miss here, for sure. And strikeouts, like there's collapse risk with Giancarlo Stanton. There's collapse risk with Jazz Chisholm any given year. There's collapse risk with Ryan McMahon. But I do think this offense is going to have a lot of power, and I do think this offense is going to have, one of the 5 best OPSs in baseball. I think they're going to play the matchups more. Aaron Boone, there was the article from Chris Kirshner talking about platooning more. I think it's going to be a key part of this team's ability to win baseball games. The platoon advantage. No team in the American League East had the advantage less in a platoon matchup than the Yankees did. And that's on Aaron Boone. Like, that's on him. He's got to be better there. And if he's not better there, we're going to have problems. So there's that. I'll get to more of the questions here. I apologize. I've just been long-winded ranting. I love going live, guys. I've been so swamped with school. I'm so glad. I mean, I'm still going to school. Don't get me wrong. But I'm glad I was able to have some time today. And we're going to be streaming some stuff. I'll have a show with Sam probably before opening day. So like an opening day themed show. But yeah, let's keep this thing rolling though. I am trying to keep tabs on the St. John's game, Jack. I'm not a St. John's fan. Completely frank, I'm not a St. John's fan. I don't really care about college basketball to like the extent where I'm rooting for anybody. I will root for Villanova because I will root for them, not because I'm a bandwagon fan, because of like their success in 2016 or whatever. I have no academic ties. I just, root for that's a different conversation. I don't want to reveal too much. I do hope a New York team wins though, right? Like New York. So if St. John's wins, good. Rather them win than like UConn. UConn wins all the time. I don't need UConn to win more. No one wants, UConn's so Boston coded to me. I know they're Yankee UConn guys. No offense to you guys, but If I had to pick, I'd want St. John's to win. So I see that they're up 7 right now against Kansas University. So yeah, the Jayhawks, Rock Chalk, right? Is that school? Anywho, let's get to more questions here. Yeah, so I guess to wrap that up, like true assessment, I think it can be a mid-90s win team who wins the division this year. What if our postseason rotation was Cole, Fried, Cam, and Carlos Lagrange? Ryan, you're speaking my language right now. Let's talk a little bit about Carlos Lagrange. Carlos Lagrange won the James P. Dawson Award, which is handed out to the Yankees' top rookie in spring training. That's not surprising. I think we can all kind of go, no duh, right? Like he was their most impressive rookie. I was really impressed with the way his pitch shapes held up with the Major League ball. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the minor league ball and the Major League ball are different. The balls that are used at AA and lower levels of AA, so like Complex League, Dominican Summer League, Single A, High A, Double A, you get the point. AAA is when the ball starts being used as Major League ball. Those balls, those minor league balls, are easier to get backspin on. They're easier to move. So some guys will have much better pitch data in the minor leagues, and then suddenly their pitch data is not as good in the big leagues because their shapes aren't very good. Carlos Lagrange's shapes looked awesome. He looked incredible. He looked great. His fastball shape was unbelievable. He was throwing incredibly hard and getting swings and misses at the top of the zone with that fastball. He looked like a big leaguer. Now, couple of notes. Command is not sticky in small sample sizes. The same way that I'm going to sit here and tell you that, hey, don't overreact to Ryan Weather's ERA. I'm also going to tell you, hey, don't overreact to Carlos Lagrange showing off better than average command and actually walking few batters in the league average, because that would be irresponsible. That would be irresponsible. That's what that would be, is me telling you only believe good things, never believe bad things. That's irresponsible, my friends. So no, we're not going to believe that Carlos Lagrange suddenly has developed 50 to 55 grade command. Not unless we get a bigger sample size that suggests he has. But what you can look at is he was facing mostly like AA to AAA to some major league competition, and he ate them alive. And he was underperforming his strikeout rate. His strikeout rate should have been way higher than it actually was because his whiff rate was ridiculous. He never allowed hard contact. He only walked 4 batters of the 51 he faced. Like, he was awesome. His stuff looks great. He looks like a big leaguer right now. He probably, if you were to ask, and I'll ask chat this, I'll shoot this in chat. We'll see what you guys think. We don't think that there's 13 pitchers better than Carlos Lagrange in the organization, right? Like, there's not. There's not, right? Like, I think can we all come to an agreement on that one? Let's see what chat thinks. Hold on, we're gonna let chat decide. Let's shoot a little poll in here. Thank you guys. We got over 100 freaking people in here. Oh my God, I have a hiatus and you guys are like, nah, I still rock with you. I love you, man. I appreciate that, guys. And if you guys can like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Really. Like you guys, the love you have for Fireside, the love you have for me, man, it's in my heart. It really does. I feel that in my heart. It means the world. In mi corazón. I feel it. But yeah, he's one of the 13 best pitchers in this organization. He has the ability to be a starting pitcher, I think, because he has a deep mix. He has 2 sliders. He has a changeup. He has a fastball. I don't actually think he needs to add to the mix to get lefties out. I think he's going to get lefties out pretty easily because of the changeup. And I think he's got the ability to hold the velocity deep into games, even if it's not 100, if it's like 98, 99, that's still disgusting. And the most important detail in all of this, if he can't start right here and right now, he would be a great reliever right now, today, on March 22nd. He'd probably be one of the 3 or 4 best relievers. Probably. I mean, the poll here is pretty crazy, guys. Like, look, I understand that, like, Lagrange is popular, but, like, 91% polling on this is pretty insane. Like, in a good way. Like, I agree, but, like, whoa, right? Like, you usually don't get that much hive mind. I don't think we're going to see him come up on opening day. I think it's the right choice because you want him to build up as a starter. Because there, again, you cannot forfeit the opportunity for this guy to become a starting pitcher. What do I mean by that? You absolutely cannot, by any means necessary, you cannot limit his ability to become a starting pitcher. I'm not saying that what you're going to do is keep him in AAA all year. What I am saying is that in April, And in May, while Rodon and Cole haven't come back yet, while Heel is kind of in flux, while you don't really know what Leathers is, maybe he gets hurt, maybe someone gets banged up, and somebody gets nicked here and there, that Carlos Lagrange could come up and start. Not pitch out of the bullpen, start. Now, if it's June, if it's July, and this rotation looks absolutely freaking disgusting, and they've got depth out the wazoo, then you go, okay, bullpen isn't looking great. We've got Carlos Lagrange. That is exactly how you want to deploy this. Brandon, I see you, my man. I don't want Lagrange to be thrown to the wolves, as Jason 161 River Ave said. I think those are wise words from Jason, as usual. I don't think it makes sense for the Yankees to just kind of like throw them out there and go, hey, go out there, and if you struggle in a month, we got to send you down. Here's the other thing, and I'm going to kind of use a cautionary tale from across the street. Let's go to Queens for a second here, fellas. Jonah Tong comes up for the Mets. And he's not good in 2025. You see a little slide in the prospect stock. And then he shows up in spring training. He still can't throw a slider. The stock slips a little bit more. And suddenly, a person who was in contention for being the best pitching prospect in the game is not the best pitching prospect in his organization, is not the second best pitching prospect in the city. He's not a top 50 prospect right now, if you ask me. And he's top 100, but he's not in that upper echelon, super duper mega elite anymore. Because if you expose a guy too early and the whole league knows they have a crippling flaw, they're going to say, well, now it's on you to prove that that flaw isn't going to stop you from being a good big leaguer. Teams react very quickly. Why do you think the Yankees went from Cam Schlettler? Yeah, I guess he could come up this year too. We are not trading him by any means necessary. Why did that happen? Because very quickly the Yankees realized this guy throws 98, 99 miles per hour. He sits there. We're not trading that. We're going to use that. That's our rotation upgrade. Not Merrill Kelly, not Sandy Alcantara. You, Cam, you're the upgrade. And it was a great choice. So you do have to self-scout well. If Lagrange has pre-existing command issues and you force him to the big leagues and his pre-existing command issues become pretty serious command issues in the big leagues, then every scout and every organization is going to go, he's got to prove to me he can throw strikes. Then I'll be back. Then I'll be back in. You don't want that. So give him the time to develop. Give him the time. I'm not saying the time is a year. The time is a couple months. Let him throw some cold weather. Get him comfortable. Then bring him up. Because the stuff is there. The mix is there. Yeah. Some more questions here. I'll kind of like quick fire some of these things. I really apologize, guys. Oh, wow. This game's close with St. John's. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, they tied it. They tied it. That's crazy. Wow. 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 That's a choke job and a half. Holy cow. Holy cow. You guys seeing this? Oh, and they fouled St. John's. Oh, they have a foul to give? Ah, never mind. I'm just going to back to baseball, fellas. I'm so skeptical about Luis Seals' Brandon Moore. I am too. Look, I like the addition of a sinker. I think the addition of a sinker is awesome. Like, great. Yes. Yes. Boom. Boom. It's back to 97, 98. Boom. Issue. Can he still throw strikes? I don't know if he can throw strikes consistently. How am I supposed to know that based on spring training? This is where we have the conversation about spring training. You can't sit here. I can't sit here and tell you, again, Heel's not walking a lot of guys this spring. Clearly the command's good, because then I'd have to sit here and go, well, this guy's batting average isn't great. This guy's exit velocity isn't great. That guy's ERA isn't great. And we'd have to take stock into those things. And that would be we're getting to a slippery slope. That's when we get into the slippery slopes. That's when we end up not having accurate assessments of baseball teams. So I don't think Luis Heel has good command. I don't know if he can consistently hold the velocity. And I don't know if he's one of our 5 best starters when Cole comes back. And when Rodon's come back, actually, I'm pretty confident saying I don't think he's one of our 5 best starters. Although, again, it's not, Luis Gil is not, it's not like he's competing with Nolan Ryan and Cy Young. Will Warren and Ryan Weathers are beatable pitchers out of camp. He beat out Will Warren for a job in 2024. And again, Ryan Weathers, I like Ryan Weathers a lot. I think everyone in chat would agree that their heart's gonna clench a little bit if he gets into a jam. That they would not start Ryan Weathers in a playoff game. I think you either are a playoff starter or you're not a playoff starter. Those are 2 buckets. Weathers is not in the playoff start bucket. He hasn't proven that yet. He wasn't going to prove that in spring training to me. He wasn't going to prove. He can't prove that without pitching the regular season for me. He can't prove that without getting healthy through regular season for me. Warren, same thing. You're either in the playoff bucket, you're not in the playoff bucket. Gil's not in the playoff bucket. Good for him. Got 2 guys ahead of him who are also not in the playoff bucket. So there's room for him to get that job and hold that job, but I don't think he's going to do it because I think Weathers is better and I think Warren's better. So yeah, sorry. long story short. I know that's a very long-winded answer. Hello, I'm making a prediction on Carlos Grange. If he pitches well tomorrow, might get a call up to MLB. I think he's better than Gil. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're going to stay consistent with it. And I think they should. I do not think they should option him to then yo-yo him last second and go, come up now. Unless somebody gets hurt. If somebody gets hurt, of course, you would assess differently. If a starter goes down, I would put Carlos Grange on this. I'd put Carlos Grange in the rotation because I think Carlos Grange is one of their 13 best pitchers. So, yeah. Yeah. LeGrande would be the closer. He's better than David Bednar. That's a hot take. Ryan, I can't go that far because I think Bednar has pristine command. His splitter is one of the best secondaries in the game. His curveball is disgusting. And I like his fastball. So I won't sit here and pretend that, I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far. So yeah. I like Ryan Weathers, but he's a 5 at best right now. Needs work with our pitching lab. Look, I think that your preseason evaluation and your spring training evaluation shouldn't have changed. Spring training should not have changed your evaluation of Ryan Weathers very much. And the reason I say that is because, what are we upset at him about? Or we're like, oh shit, this guy's looked terrible. Really high batting average on balls in play. Really high ERA. While also having good strikeout to walk rates and good ground ball rates. So, for Weathers, I'm not saying he had the greatest camp of all time, but I think the things he needed to work on, having a sinker, a better sinker, and having a gyro slider, I think he did those 2 things. Now, will it translate? Will it result in a good year? I don't know. And would a good year even remove him? Would a good year even put him in the playoff rotation? That's the other question. Would you all take a 3.7 ERA and 130 innings of Ryan Weathers? Would you consider that a good year? Because I would consider that a good year. I would consider that, okay, the Yankees identified a player on the market, and I think they did well acquiring that player and turning them into a formidable starting pitcher. I'm assuming a 3.7 ERA, by the way, in a similar run environment to this last year. So some comparisons, I guess, for a 3.7 ERA and what that would mean, in terms of relative to the run environment, that'd be 10% better than the league average pitcher. That's where Framber Valdez had a 3.66 last year. Gosman a 3.59. Walker was a 3.86, which would be actually that's way further ahead. That's maybe not. Let's go to 100 innings. Let's see, 3.7 guys, more 3.7 guys. Shodi Managa 3.73. Jameson Tyone 3.68, Framber Valdez 3.66. I guess maybe the names isn't really because Framber's clearly better than Shota and Tyone. Point is, would you take a 3.7 over 130 innings? I think I would. And so I guess what I'm trying to say here is, would a good year for Ryan Weathers be enough to put him in the postseason rotation? The answer might be no. Might just be better off in the bullpen. And if Ryan Weathers is getting big outs in the bullpen, I think it's a successful trade if he's doing it in the postseason. So again, I'm not trying to sit here and I'm still I'm not really sure if I'm making sense here, but for Weathers, I think his stuff is really good. I think he's been good when healthy over the last 2 years. I think it's just a matter of, can he stay healthy? Does the command suddenly like crumble? I don't know. That could happen. Sometimes you throw hard, your command crumbles. Like your mechanics are just not there. Okay. I need to take on the coaching staff. Adam's been asking a million questions about Aaron Boone, so I'm gonna answer the question. Do I think Aaron Boone's a good manager? I don't think Aaron Boone's perfect. Like if Aaron Boone, like if the Yankees fired Aaron Boone, I wouldn't be like, oh wow. But I'm gonna be honest. I also wouldn't be like, oh wow, they're in a much better spot. I would like they would fundamentally be the exact same team to me. If the Yankees fired Aaron Boone, I would still feel exactly how I do now about the team. So, yeah, like I don't know if that's is that an underwhelming answer for you guys? I just don't really care. I don't really care about Aaron Boone. I think that there are things that Aaron Boone did poorly. There are mistakes. Like Aaron Boone, we just talked about the platoon advantage. Aaron Boone was bad at platooning last year. He's been bad at platooning for a good chunk of his recent managerial tenure. He did not swap out Verdugo for Grisham in 24. I thought that's not in hindsight. I was writing about this in 24. That was stupid. That was dumb. That was, that's not making a tough decision he should have made. But I think he's made other tough calls. I think he's done a good job handling rotations of depth last year, like having Dominguez kind of like not really, like Dominguez lost his job to Grisham. How do you manage that? Like how much do you want to buy into Trent Grisham in like April? Right? So I think as a clubhouse guy, there's no really clubhouse issues. I think as a overall bullpen tactician, he's fine. I think overall managerially, he's fine. He's like okay to me relative to other managers. I think most managers make a lot of mistakes. Like I think there's a lot of like things I don't agree with that managers do. And I think as a clubhouse guy, he's really good at what he does. I think the Yankees have really tight knit clubhouses. Do I think like let's talk about the Nestor thing, Nestor and Tim Hill. I would have gone to Tim Hill. And I don't think I would have thought much about it. I would have gone to Hill. Is it like something that should hang over Boone's head? Fair or not? Yeah. It didn't work. We can talk about the process of it. It didn't work. Right? Like it did not work. He pushed a button. The button did not work. So, yeah. Like that's a real thing. That's not something you can't like ignore in all this. Right? At the end of the day, it didn't work. But I don't think Aaron Boone cost us that World Series. Jake Cousins walked Gavin fucking Lux. You can't do that. You just can't do that. You can't do that. It's one of the greatest sins of any Yankee pitcher in any postseason series. You've got 3 first ballot Hall of Famers coming up next, and you walk Gavin Lux. And in the World Series, like, I've been really defensive of this in the World Baseball Classic, but in the World Series, Aaron Judge choked. Aaron Judge crapped himself in the postseason 24. Like that, my friends, hurt them more than Aaron Boone did in that World Series. Is Aaron Boone perfect? Hell no. If news broke, the Yankees fire Aaron Boone, I'd be like, all right, yeah, cool, whatever. Okay, cool. Find a manager that is a better tactician. I don't know if they can. I don't know if that better tactician is going to get buy-in from the clubhouse. I think the Yankees are going to win a World Series with Aaron Boone. I just do. I think they could win a World Series with Aaron Boone because I think you can win a World Series with 90% of the managers in the game. Do you think Dave Roberts is a great tactician? Dave Roberts brought in Blake Trinan in a save situation in Game 2 with a DS against the Phillies. He should have gotten burnt by it. Sorry. Ryan Beck, that's a great point. Oswaldo, the play at second, the ground ball that went under his glove, that did hurt them. They brought him in for defensive substitutions. That hurt him. I don't think Aaron Boone is a net pot. Like, let's talk about this like wins above replacement. Do we think that Aaron Boone is costing them more than one win a year? Because we're implying this guy is like about as valuable to like the American League East as like a Gunnar Henderson. If we're like, yeah, he's like 3 entire wins or 4 or 5 entire wins. Not Gunnar Henderson. He's like essentially like a above average starter, basically. I think Aaron Boone's an okay tactician. He's an okay tactician. He makes okay bullpen decisions. He makes okay managerial decisions. And he keeps a pretty good clubhouse together in the New York market. Aaron Judge likes him. Aaron Boone likes being here. And they could totally win a World Series with him. And there are worse options out there. And we see that every single cycle of guys that get hired. If we're to go through, like, I guess we could go through every MLB team's manager. Let's go do this. Let's go check this, right? Okay. Is Mark Kotsay better? No. Is Steven Vogt better? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. AJ Hinch? Yes. Joe Espada? Nash has been pretty disappointing under him. Kevin Cash? Yes. Skip Shoemaker? We haven't really seen him. John Schneider? I actually don't think John Schneider is an objectively better management, but I think what he did in Game 5 of the ALCS almost cost the Blue Jays the postseason. I don't actually think that John Schneider is a much better tactician than Aaron Boone. I actually think the Blue Jays are like their platoon advantage rates are similar to the Yankees. Like they're not really a different. I think John Schneider's a manager who can win a World Series because he's got a good team. That's why I think of him. Dan Wilson, didn't bring in. He left Bizardo out there in Game 7. Got Andres friggin' Munoz. What are we doing? That's criminal. It's criminal. Kurt Suzuki? I don't know if Kurt Suzuki's a good manager or not. Walt Weiss? I don't know. Torey Lovello? Craig Counsell? Terry Francona? Not at this stage of his career. Not at this stage. I don't know if you guys remember this, but 2022 LDS puts Shane Bieber in. Doesn't put Shane Bieber in for Game 5. Lets us face Aaron Savali, I think, and then doesn't challenge a clear safe call at first base and do or die must win. Dave Roberts, I think Dave Roberts is not a great tactician either. I think him and Boone are similarly not great tacticians. I just think Dave Roberts is the best team of all time every year, basically. Clay McCullough, yeah. Pat Murphy, yeah, I actually think Pat Murphy, like he scratched some old school itch for me for some reason. Don Kelly, Ollie Marble, no. Craig Stammen, we don't know. Tony Vitello, we don't know. Blake Butero, we don't know. Rob Thompson, Carlos Mendoza, right? So again, we kind of look up and down the league. It's not like Aaron Boone's not a bottom 10 manager in this league. And the gap between like the 20th best and the 10th best manager is minuscule. So again, I think that we have the Aaron Boone conversation. I'm not an Aaron Boone super fan. I don't really care for Aaron Boone either way. If the Yankees win 83 games this year, they should fire him on the spot. Don't care if it's even his fault or not. Like, you got to change his voice at that point. Win 83 games. Get rid of him. Think he's win 85 games and losing the wild card round. I'd fire Aaron Boone. I'd do it. Why not? Fuck it. Right? Like, fuck it. Right? But like, if the Yankees, like, do I think the Yankees aren't going to win the World Series because Aaron Boone's here? No, I think that's crazy to suggest that. I think it's actually insane to suggest that the Yankees won't win a World Series because of Aaron Boone, because I think that implies that he's like incredibly valuable in either direction. And I think that's not really what any MLB team would suggest about really any manager. Even like Kevin Cash. What do we think is the value of Kevin Cash on like the Rays win total? Do we think it's like, what would we set the over under, like 3.5 wins maybe, if we're being aggressive? And if Kevin Cash ever got fired, like I would tell, if Kevin Cash got fired, I'd sit on this podcast and say fire Aaron Boone and hire Kevin Cash. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's the guy who I grade out the best. I think is the best of the best. Craig Counsell was once considered the best of the best. The Cubs had a really bad first year with him. Like a really bad first year in a terrible division. Horrible division. I don't know. He doesn't move the needle in the right direction. Fire him. Does he move the needle in the wrong direction? Does he move the needle at all? And do I care that he doesn't move do I care that he doesn't make the right decisions? Yes. Do I care to the point that like I need to, like, I don't know what he's like in the clubhouse. All I know is that there's never clubhouse issues. I guess it's a good thing. So like, do I disrupt that for the sake of, I don't know, gaining half a win over the course of a season? Like, how long did it take Boone to figure out Williams' ass last year? The whole bullpen sucked. Weaver sucked. Cruz was hurt for like entire months of the year. They didn't. Doval was terrible when he first got here. Benner walked in and blew the first game he took them out for. This bullpen sucked last year. He had no options. This bullpen was terrible. Aaron Boone. Can we talk? Aaron Boone is not like Devin Williams sucked last year. It's on Devin Williams. Sorry, it's on him. But look, we don't agree on Aaron Boone. I think he's completely inconsequential and he doesn't matter. And that at the end of the day, I care about like 150 other things more than Aaron Boone. And that Aaron Boone could get fired tomorrow. He could be hired by a different team. He could. I don't really care. I don't care. I really don't. Really don't. Excuse for the manager. I think they should. I think you should have excuses for people if they're needed or warranted. Like, do we think Aaron Boone has more impact on the Yankees winning a baseball game than... Actually, let's go down the list. Does Aaron Boone have a greater deal of impact on the Yankees than Trent Grisham? Or Aaron Judge, or Cody Ballinger, or Ben Rice, or John Carlos Stanton, or Jazz Chisholm, Jose Caballero, Ryan McMahon, Austin Wells, Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, Luis Heel, Ryan Yarbrough, Paul Blackburn, Jake Bird, Tim Hill, Fernando Cruz, Camilo Doval, David Bednar, Elmer Rodriguez, Gerrit Cole, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Anthony Volpe, Carlos Legrand, Spencer Jones, Jason Dominguez. Like, there are like 30 people inside the organization who all have more impact on winning baseball games than he does. If any of these guys, like if certain of these guys suck, some of these guys are really good, that's gonna like that this all has more impact. So yeah, I'm gonna move on at literally anything else because yeah, he's not the reason why Grisham's in the lineup. What are we talking about? He hit 34 home runs last year. He's the reason why he's in the lineup. He hit 34 home runs. Aaron Boone had no choice. You want him to put the guy who was. You want me to put the guy who was. I like Jason, but like he couldn't catch a fly ball. You want me to put him on over the guy who's got like a 34 home run season? Come on now. This is the reason why Volpe plays every day. The reason Volpe plays every day is because their shortstops suck. That's more on Cashman than on Boone. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you could just shit on Cashman for that. You could say, hey, like, why do you not have a better shortstop in the organization? Why is Jose Caballero the best shortstop we've had competition-wise ever since Volpe got here? I think that's horrible. That's really bad on Cashman. No hits in the playoffs, though. Okay. Yeah, we're moving on. Yeah, so look, we'll answer some other questions. I'm done with the Boone conversation. We don't spend 20 minutes going back and forth on whether Aaron Boone is the reason why they lose in the postseason every year. Let's get to some other stuff, and we'll wrap up here in the next 10 minutes. Yeah, that's what we'll do. What else we got here? What else? We've got... Oh, the St. John's did officially win. Do you want to get that? What else we got? They're more likely to... Okay. Ryan, I know you hype guys up. Ryan, I know you hype up Legrand, but you drop names like Little Clayton Savage as better prospects. You can qualify a statement by saying those pitchers have big league experience to say they're more likely to have successful careers at this point, but in terms of upside, he may have the best upside of any of the top prospects that you have said are better than him. I don't think you're wrong. So Mark, this is a great question. I don't think you're wrong to say that Carlos Legrand has more upside than those guys, but I don't only judge prospects based on upside. That's kind of like how I view it. Like for prospects, Nolan McLean, and is that even fair to like measure upside by just stuff? Nolan McLean has good command. He has one of the deepest pitch mixes in baseball. He's got funky arm angles. He's throwing harder. Like I just think Nolan McLean is already like a frontline starting pitcher. Trust me, I'm not taking too much stock in that Italy start in the World Baseball Classic. I actually think he's really good. Do I think Trey Savage? Do I think Trey Savage is meaningfully better than Carlos Legrand to the point that it is unfathomable for me to think that Legrand is in that conversation? No. The answer is no. I think Legrand could be better than Trey Savage. I wouldn't be stunned. I wouldn't be like stunned if he was better than McLean, but I wouldn't bet on it. I guess is what I'm trying to say here. I think Legrand is incredibly talented. I think Legrand is unbelievably talented. I think look, at the end of the day, Legrand may not throw enough strikes to be a big leaguer. And we do not have a full season of minor league data of him throwing enough strikes to be a big league starter. That's a pretty big flaw. It's he is a boomer bust prospect a little bit, right? Like there's a world where he's just not a starter. Savage may not be a starter. He may not throw enough strikes. He may not be healthy enough. He may not have a deep enough mix. There are flaws in Trey Savage's game. For Nolan McLean specifically, I do believe he has the fewest clear-cut limitations, has clearly the highest percentage chance of being a starter. I think it's almost impossible for him not to be a starter, barring injuries. And I think he has a deep mix. So, like, Nolan McLean, I think, is in a different... I think Nolan McLean is the guy who I think, yeah, you're kind of crazy if you want to even entertain the idea that McLean isn't the better prospect at this point in time. But I do think LeGrande has some of the best upside. Some of the best upside in the entire, like, in all of minor league baseball. So I do think he's a special prospect. I think he's a top 30 prospect in the game, arguably. Savage is in that range. I don't think Savage is a top 10 prospect in baseball. I just don't rank pitchers that high usually. McLean, though, different. I would rank McLean in the top 5. So, yeah. Does that answer your question, Mark? Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I'm basically saying that I think McLean's like, he's different from, there's a difference between McLean and Savage, and that difference is enough where you got to keep LeGrande in those kinds of conversations. Yeah, Savage is already hurt. Yeah, that's part of it. No, like that's part of it. To be fair, though, LeGrande also has significant injury risk. Not only does he throw hard, but he's had a significant injury history. So, yeah, and I think that, Savage was awesome last year. Like, he's already a good big league pitcher. Don't see why he can't be this year. But again, nonetheless, not trying to sit here and tell you definitively one thing or the other. So, yeah. I wonder, so, like, I guess my question would be, who do I think is better than, like, clearly better? Like, I think McLean's clearly, like, the best pitching prospect in baseball. I think I'd rather have Bubba Chandler, but, I think I'd rather have Bubba Chandler. Better strike rates. And ridiculous velocity. The Blue Jays would not trade Trey Savage for Carlos LeGrande, is what I would tell you. I think the Yankees would trade Carlos LeGrande for Trey Savage. Again, that's more of the, like, but is that the converse, like that's where they are in their careers. By the end of the year, that could be completely different. Maybe it's like, hey, the Yankees wouldn't trade Carlos LeGrande for any of these 25 or under starting pitchers. Who knows? Yeah, we'll see. But we're going to probably start wrapping things up in the next, like, 5 minutes or so. So if you guys have any final questions, thoughts that you guys would like to share, I would love to answer them. LeGrande, I don't want to put him in a tier with McLean, like, this point, because we're biting so hard on his command actually getting better. It's like, we got to pump the brakes. I can't do that, because then I have to, that contradicts my thoughts on spring training, which is small samples, not enough to conclude on those kinds of things. Dominguez will never learn how to catch fly balls. He's a DH. There's a chance he doesn't. I think he can go from turbo dog shit to, like, just normal bad in left field, but that's still, like, that's a hike. Also, that's a severe limiting factor. Like, that kind of makes you an automatic. You can't really be a 3-win player without being an elite hitter, and that's hard to do. So, Dominguez is interesting. I like the bat. God, that glove is so bad. If his glove was average, he might have been on this team starting already. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got. What else do we got? There are times when Devin would come in, I would lose my mind because the outcome was going to be. It is such a shame. That, like, it's such a shame that he was bad with us, man. It really is. We probably win the division, right? I know we do win the division if he's just normal good. What a fucking shame, dude. What a shame. I have more confidence that Spencer Jones is enough to play center field than Dominguez managed to figure out the defense and hit lefties. Yeah, so, like, that's the issue, right? Like, Jones can freaking play center field. That's a big part of it, right? All right, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. More players play on the field for the NFL, but when they lose too much, the manager is gone, not MLB. Yeah, I think NFL front offices are like generally stupider than MLB front offices. I think NFL teams make dumber decisions than MLB teams do. So, yeah. I think the average MLB team is better at running their team than the average NFL team. Yeah. There are more really, really bad front offices there than in Major League Baseball. There's just a lot of cheapness in Major League Baseball. But most teams like understand Stuff Plus and hitting the ball hard works and modern baseball philosophy. The worst front offices today would be like one of the best front offices of like 15 years ago in baseball. Did you see He'll pitch yesterday? His velocity seems to be up. He hit 99 a couple times. I don't think he did that since 2024. Do you feel any more hopeful after he pitch? I feel more hopeful. I feel more hopeful for sure. But I don't know if I can say he's all the way back, like to the extent where I would put him in the rotation. I don't know. I think the decision to like keep him out of the rotation, given like the timing of it's a little odd. It's like it's kind of like the best he's looked since 24, man. I don't know. I don't know if he can command well enough, but I do like his sinker. I do like that he throws a sinker now. I like multi fastball guys. Yeah, that's my opinion. Really. The average NFL team is stupider than the average MLB team. 100%, 1,000%. Not even. It's not a conversation. The average MLB team is far more adept at, like, MLB accepted the analytics revolution and has gotten to the point where we can marry analytics and scouting far better than NFL teams can. Far better. Yeah, far better. I think that, like, how do I put this? We're so far into the data revolution with baseball that everyone has data. Everyone is, like, analytical. Except for maybe the Rockies. But even they brought in a new front office, and they're probably analytical now. And we're so good at analytics, we being Major League Baseball, not just me. I'm saying baseball, not myself. I'm not trying to, like, glaze myself here. We're so good at this data thing that we know exactly how to, like, we know exactly how to weave in film, when to weave in film, and when to use data. We don't have like these arbitrary, I hate EPA. EPA actually isn't a good stat. Burn PFF down. Like we don't even know what stats are good in the NFL. Like we haven't figured that out yet. We figured it out in baseball. WRC plus for hitters. It's super easy to quantify all. OPS. We have baby versions. We have nerd versions. We have mega nerd versions. We have of all of these stats. We have it locked down. And yes, you do. The NFL head coach does have more impact than the MLB manager. That does not mean the MLB manager itself does not change the point that the average NFL team franchise is stupider than the average MLB franchise. There's just less of a gap in the understanding of data. But Ryan, that's a great. The Steelers hired Mike McCarthy in 2026. The Giants kept Joe Shane. The Colts gave Daniel Jones $88 million. The Jets, the Browns. You know what I mean? Like, these teams are stupid. That is Rockies level stupidity. And they're all in the same league. We have one Rockies, maybe two if you want to count the White Sox. The Nationals aren't even that stupid anymore. They hired a new GM. They're not that stupid anymore. There was like, the Bengals didn't practice outdoors, or they had to practice outdoors up until what, like 2 years ago, because they wouldn't buy an indoor facility. Like, look, there are stupid MLB teams. They're dumb ones. NFL teams are can be really stupid, and and we don't have a clear understanding of NFL data. It's not really public. It's hard to figure out when it's applicable. Buy-in doesn't really exist at the NFL level to that extent. Like they're in the Stone Age compared to baseball. So, yeah, like the average NFL team is a lot stupider than the average MLB team. Because the average MLB team, you can talk about coaching. I'm telling you, the reason NFL teams fire coaches the rate they do is because they're not very smart at hiring coaches in the first place, and some of them fire some guys that shouldn't. Let's look at like Kyle Shanahan. The Falcons should have fired their head coach and kept Kyle Shanahan. They didn't, so the 49ers have Kyle Shanahan, and the Falcons are terrible. They're so bad. They're so bad. Speaking of the Falcons, they paid Kirk Cousins $40 million and then drafted Michael Penix in the same draft. Michael Penix sucks and Kirk Cousins got cut. So, again, it's not really close. Yeah, the average NFL coach has greater impact on games than the average MLB manager, but you're kind of making my point for me, because if you're making my point for me, if we're making the point that the average MLB manager has far fewer responsibilities than the NFL coach, then we're sitting here and we're having the conversation that Aaron Boone doesn't really have an impact on the team. I'm not arguing that head coaches in the NFL matter less or equal to MLB coaches, but you are arguing now your argument is that MLB managers don't have as much responsibilities and are not required to do as much, which is why NFL teams fire faster, and also because they really have a hard time firing guys. Or not, they have a hard time hiring guys, sorry, because they don't know it's really hard to figure that out. And they're not really well equipped to do it. And you just got to have Mike McCarthy sitting around. Sometimes Mike McCarthy just keeps getting jobs. And sometimes Joe Shane keeps getting jobs and things of that nature. Well, Adam, what are you saying, right? Because if you're saying the average NFL coach is smarter than the average MLB coach, you have to be smarter to be an NFL coach, it's because the job's harder. Right. But if an NFL coach matters more than an MLB coach, aren't you making my argument for me? You're making my argument for me, which is the MLB coach has far fewer responsibilities. They don't even have to, they're not even part of the offensive game plan. That's a hitting coach. They're even part of the pitching game plan. The pitching coach, that's Matt Blake's job. You're kind of making my point for me. He's a AAA. Again, you're kind of making my point for me. You don't think the average MLB coach is smart because you don't think the average MLB coach does much. So if they don't do much, they can't really impact you negatively. They don't do a lot. That's not here nor there. Is the premise, and this is a super chat from Brian Bashman, is the premise of the argument that if you don't buy into WRC Plus or WAR, that you're stupid, because I'm stupid then. My premise is that MLB teams have a greater, and I don't know if they're using WRC Plus or what we understand as wins above replacement. That could be different to them, right? But my point more so is that I'm using WRC Plus as a placeholder here because we have this data publicly, and that's the creme de la creme of what we have publicly. Major league teams and what is considered cutting edge analytics, the gap between number 5 and number 15 is not really that big. And the gap between number 20 and number 25 is not that big. So the point I'm making is that for the most part, 80% of Major League Baseball fundamentally understands baseball the same way. And modern baseball the same way. And that, fundamentally speaking, they have the same philosophies. If you hit the ball hard in the air, you're probably going to be a good hitter if you make enough contact and make good swing decisions. If you're a pitcher, if you strike out enough guys and you limit walks and you limit damage contact, you're going to be a good pitcher. And if you do, they understand what makes for a good hitter and good pitcher. Not everyone completely agrees on how to get to that point, but everyone agrees that there's not one specific way. So there's agreement in the disagreement. It's kind of weird. Are the Guardians meaningfully stupider than the Dodgers? I don't think so. I just think the Dodgers have a lot more money. So are the Brewers meaningfully stupider than the Dodgers? Is David Stearns meaningfully dumber than the Dodgers? No, I don't. I think the answer is no. Do I think the Rams are do I think Howie Roseman and the Rams, do I think they're meaningfully smarter than 80% of the league? Yeah. I think Howie Roseman's so much smarter than half the league. I don't think Andrew Friedman's smarter than I don't think Andrew Friedman's cleaning house on 15 GMs in the league anymore, because there's 15 GMs in the league who kind of understand what Andrew Friedman does and why he does it, if not more. That's more so the point I'm making. So yeah, you can replace the stats for whatever you think an MLB team values, but that's what I'm more so saying. And I think NFL teams, they don't have that same synergy hive mind brain yet, because that's just going to be hard to buy in on. See what else we have. It's either judge after the fact. Yeah, I guess so too. Hindsight, right? Even with head coach hires, I didn't hate Brian Dable as a hire, and he was a bad hire. I didn't hate Robert Saleh as a hire, and he was a bad hire for the Jets. It's hard to figure these things out. But we're in football talk. We have bled into football talk. I think it's a good point for us to end. My point on all this, LB managers really don't matter and don't impact wins nearly enough for us to really care about them that much. There are maybe a couple of managers in the league that are on the far end and the far end that way and this way, but Boone is definitely not the smartest manager in the league, and I think there are definitely stupider managers and objectively guys who make worse decisions. Boone is meh. Yankees could find 15 guys like Aaron Boone in the league tactician when it comes to being a tactician. They could find 15 guys to do that job. I don't know if they can find 15 guys to hold the clubhouse together. They can find 15 guys who can do that job. Don't think Aaron Boone's a special baseball mind. Really don't. That's my position. And I think if we're at the point where we're calling Aaron Boone the worst manager in the league, I think we're doing too much. The Yankees, they need to play well. Players matter. And in the NFL teams there are like some really stupid NFL teams. I feel bad for Jet fans. That's what we're gonna end on. If you're a Jet fan, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. Let's go Yankees, by the way. Let's go Yankees. It's the Yankee season's football, CTE ball. It's not their season. It's our season time. It's our time. Opening day is Wednesday. We're gonna have a show for that. Pre-game, post-game? Yeah, probably the situation. I want to go live before Wednesday, so we'll work on that. We'll see what that looks like. You'll get an official announcement tomorrow. You guys have been awesome. You guys have been the best. We spent so much time talking about Aaron Boone, and I honestly don't care if you agree or disagree. I enjoy talking to you guys about it. I hope that you guys felt like we had a good conversation, right? Because at the end of the day, it's baseball. It's not that big of a deal. We'll have Brian Basham will have the conversation about WRC Plus in a different stream. I promise you. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe if you can. If you're watching this after the fact, you're a baller. If you watched 68 minutes of this, you're a baller. Yeah, check out the socials. Billy's, April 8th, 4 p.m. Be there, be square. We'll keep promoting it.